In the last video, I talked about how pushing harder in life can actually make things worse. And I also discussed the difference between slow seasons and fast seasons, and how entering a slow season can help you to recover, gain clarity, and rest up for another fast season to come. But here's the real question. Once you know you should enter a slow season, how do you know when it's time to pick up the pace again and enter a fast season in life? The problem that most people face is that when they slow down, they don't know when to pick up again and they just stay stagnant. Here's a quick little recap from the last video, and if you haven't watched it, I encourage you to click on it. I'll link it in the description below. So, slow seasons aren't permanent, they are temporary and they are corrective. They are there to help you to rebuild your clarity and to rest up and regather your energy for the next push to move forward. The mistake isn't resting. The mistake is people trying to push too early or too late again. So now that we've done a quick review of the last video and why slow seasons are important, how do you know when it's time to exit a slow season and re-accelerate into that fast season of life again? Well, you gotta pay attention to the signals. Just like working out, you don't increase the amount of weight you can do without knowing that your body is ready and capable of doing that. You increase it gradually over time once your body has adapted to that level of resistance. And your mind works in the same way. There are 4 key signals to look at that will indicate when to exit a slow season and accelerate back into a fast season. Signal number 1 is that your energy gradually returns. You wake up in the morning with a natural drive, not feeling like you need to do something out of fear. You feel more of a quiet tug in a certain direction to start working again. The second signal to look at is clarity, replacing confusion. You stop asking questions like, what should I do with my life? And you start to ask questions such as, how do I execute this better? When you start to regain clarity, this means that your capacity to execute is returning. The third signal that you are looking for is when small wins compound again. Your effort starts to produce disproportionate results. One action leads to another and your momentum just begins to stack. This is a green light, not to sprint again, but to start moving forward. And the fourth signal is discipline starts to feel lighter. The same task that once maybe felt heavy to you, they start to now feel kind of neutral or even satisfying. So now that you know when to slow down and enter a slow season and the signals to look for to move from that slow season to the fast season, how do you actually make this transition without burning out? Well, firstly, it is important to note that most people miss this. Acceleration should feel controlled. It shouldn't feel like chaos, like you're being thrown around. And a lot of people tend to go from 0 to 100. But what you should do is gradually increase your volume and add structure to your day. And commit to consistency, not urgency. You want this acceleration in effort and energy to feel more like a ramp versus a spike up. I think it's important to note that if you want to accelerate again because you feel like you're falling behind, you are probably not ready. I've fallen into that trap multiple times myself, and it only makes things worse. But if you re-accelerate because your capacity is present and it returns, then you are ready. Now, like I said previously, most people don't fail because they start moving again. They fail because they don't know when. And if you've followed the video here and you've looked at the 4 signals that I gave you earlier, once you tick all those boxes, you know that you are ready to accelerate again. But like I just mentioned, it is important to note that your acceleration should be gradual. It should be more like a ramp versus a spike up. However, this ramp of intensity, effort, acceleration will look slightly different for everyone. Some people's ramp will be a little bit flatter and a little bit longer, and other people's will be a little bit steeper. And you just need to figure out what's right for you. With all that said, I hope that God blesses you and that you're able to use these principles moving forward, as I will be for my next semester in school and the next fast season in my life. And yeah, I hope God's with you, and I hope God blesses you along the way.